Hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm saying hello to you from my kitchen here in my house in Switzerland. As I promised, we're going to learn to make that little guy today. Okay, so the history is that a long time ago I started making him because Betty Bossi came out with this first. It's totally stolen from Betty Bossi, but I revised the recipe a little bit, and it's really delicious. It's this soft, sort of yummy, soft, sweet bread, and you don't overcook it. And it's really good with molasses and butter and honey, or just on its own, or you can even add something salty. Okay, so here we go, my little cooking course. First things first, you need some flour, okay? White flour works fine. Here we go. Putting the flour in the bowl, right? A kilo. I love European measurements because they're easier than American. You don't have to divide cups and spoons and everything. It's just easy. 1,000 grams, basta. Next thing you do is you take your milk, okay, your nice fresh farm milk if you have it, but otherwise whole milk, and you're going to heat it 500 grams or half a liter. Usually I do a liter 5.5 deciliters, but I don't when you add a little bit of sugar to your pasta. So 5 deciliters. We're going to heat that at 1 minute in the microwave just to sort of get it to room temperature. You don't want to overdo that because you don't want to kill your yeast, you know. So, but a little bit warm is going to make it much better. So it's heating over there. Hi. Okay. Next, here's our butter, which has been softened. Okay, it's been nicely softened. It's plump. I'm going to open our plumpy soft butter. Okay. In Switzerland, we have gram markings on that. This recipe calls for 150 grams, but I think it's too much. It's too heavy. So take it down to 100 grams, or even less if you prefer, but not too much less. Okay. You just, cut off 100 grams there. There we go. Of softened butter. Now, you're going to keep it simple. You can just kind of cut some little flakes into your bowl. I like it simple. I want to have the minimum dishes involved, so I don't have to clean so much. So I'm just showing you my tricks, but you can do it. Probably you have a better way to do it, but this is my way. So once you've divided off the 100 grams, you can just sort of cut little flakes of your soft but not melted butter. Soft but not melted. See? Like a donut. Okay. Ooh, we should eat donuts. That should be our next thing. Okay. Mix it just a teeny bit. Okay. Now, next, salt. 3 teaspoons of salt. And no, they do not have to be official American teaspoons. And no, they do not have to be either exact grams to the very micromilligram. No, just 1. Oops, a little bit extra, no problem there. Oops, 2 and 3. Always a little bit more than less. Okay, there we go. Mix it because you actually don't want the salt to be touching the yeast after. They don't like each other. I don't know why, but they just don't. And you know what? We all understand we have affinities with each other, so keep them separate. Next, sugar. Okay, just white sugar, plain white sugar will do. The fact is, I'm not exactly sure how much I add. Sometimes I've added more and sometimes I've added less. And I find that depending on the day, the weather, the humidity, and a lot the cook's mood, you should add what you feel. Now, don't forget that food is alive and it knows how you're feeling that day. And if it knows that you need a little more sugar, you should just add it. It will be happier, it will rise better, and it will give you a delicious bread. So go with your gut. I put about 3 tablespoons in. And since I want it to be a little sweet for Easter, I might just add a little extra. Okay, that's for the sugar. And yes, again, I use your standard tablespoon and your standard teaspoon. I don't use American tablespoons and teaspoons because I find them a little bit uptight. Do you know, like it's perfect and then you have to go over it with your knife and you're like, what? Is it really going to change if there's 3 grains more salt or not? I mean, this is not possible that that bread is working with 3 grains, you know, of exactitude. Okay, now we have in there our butter, our flour, our salt, and our sugar. Next, let's not forget our yeast. I use this little fresh cube of yeast, but you can use dry yeast. You can. Just make sure that your milk is a little bit warmed, but not hot. Oh, the dog again. Hold on. He has this habit of wanting to go out every time I come in the kitchen. There you go, Johnny. Okay. Okay, so we have yeast. I like fresh, but you can use dry. No problem. And if you need to use sourdough, go for it. Okay. And if you need help making a sourdough starter, let me know. Okay. So what I like to do is take it and just kind of like crumble it up. Just to make it more friendly for him. You know, he has a lot of work to do. He has to work his way through all that flour. Why would you just put the cube in? It gives him more work. Just kind of, he's like sand. Just friendly, crumble him up and help him along on his day. He's probably having a hard day too right now. Then mix it up, and then since I put my hands in there, I have to wash them again, sorry. Okay, but they're washed and disinfected. Coronavirus style, just so you know, everything has been completely disinfected. I am not going to make myself sick in the making of this video. Next, here is some slightly warmed milk. Again, I use Fresh Farm because that's what we get, but you can use whole milk, that's my next best. And you can use like skim milk, but you know, if you need to use skim milk, use the skim milk. You can also use UHT and all of those other, but I just like some plain fresh whole milk. Then it's slightly warmed, checking. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna just pour that in there. Pouring. Be friendly with it, you know, again, you don't want to flood him. All that flour is trying to deal with absorbing that milk, so you don't want to hurt her feelings by just kind of throwing it all in there. But then the last thing is to recount, because sometimes you forget to add the salt. So we added the sugar, we added the salt, we added the butter, we added the yeast, and we added the flour. So she's all ready. Here's the next thing. You can either do it with your hands. There's 3 ways to knead your dough, and I don't know what situation you're in right now where you are, so I'm going to tell you all 3 ways, but I didn't get this ready, of course, before my little show. A mixer works if you have the little bread beaters. Okay, the cookie dough, the ones to whip cream don't really work so well. They're not strong enough for this, but the bread beater ones work. You can also just use your fork, get it mixed up, and then work it with your hands. If you do it that way, you need to really work it a good 15 to 20 minutes. And I did it for years, and it works really, really well. And then one year I got a Kenwood, so I'm going to use the Kenwood. But if you want help on learning how to do it with your hands, you know, I'm here for you. Okay, so we're now going to take the bowl and stick it in the Kenwood. I'll bring you over to see. You can come with me. Okay. There's my Kenwood. Do you see it? Okay, this is going to be tricky. Gonna have to put you down. There we are. Okay, I'm gonna attach the Kenwood. And we're gonna put that on. Okay. I know, it's a little bit cheating, but I like to do it. Seems easier. However, if you don't want to do it that way, you can, again, knead it with your hands. So to knead it with your hands, first I would suggest taking the mixer, even if you only have the milk mixer, and just get it 1 minute mixed up, okay? Then take it out onto a flour board or onto your nice floured countertop and just start working it, you know, get some nice combat training. in there. Use your shoulders. And one thing you have to remember, and I think this is important in our day and age, is that bread feels your mood. So if you're mad and angry, your bread is going to come out a little bit mad and angry, and that's true. It comes out a little bit hard, or a little bit, maybe it doesn't rise. Let's see how mine does today. But you have to remember, even if you're mad, to try not to put your aggression into your bread. You can talk to your bread, and I know you're getting, you can talk to your bread and tell it that you're mad, but you need to let it feel your kind hands, okay? Namaste. So, I feel like I should click off for a few minutes because that's going to take 10 minutes to, you know, do its thing. We're just going to let it, wait, there, we're just going to let it do that, okay? Keep it on a very low setting so that it's not going fast and it has time to breathe, because your bread also needs time to relax. If you're just like pounding it, it gets really mad. Don't do that. In the meantime, perhaps I will take you on a little tour if you want, okay? Because I'm blessed to have a garden, and I've thought a lot about these past days. A lot about this, actually, about how blessed I am to have this garden, because not everybody does. And for a long time, I was complaining about living in the country, and I do still do that, I admit. But, you know, as all trials will do to us, it's made me also start behaving myself and realize that, you know, there's a lot of good things in this situation to have a little bit of garden to go out and sit, and I know that that's a luxury. I know that. So, voila. I'll just show you my little garden. Voila. And if you want, I'll show you in front of my house while that's mixing. Otherwise, just click off and come back if you want. So this house we bought and redid ourselves. It was very dark and sad and awful when we bought it. Voila, that's the front door. We walk outside backwards. My neighbors are used to me doing dumb stuff. And voila, that's us going back into the house. Okay? And this little bit of paradise. A little Swiss bit of paradise with a little blue Burano door. See? Burano. Yay! Okay. Should I bake a crusted crusade now and would be classified as master's Russian weaponry? Yes, Stefano, you should start baking right now with me. Yes, I'm a donna di casa, vedi? I'm totally like a donna di casa. That's the one thing I keep saying is like, look, here I am, housewife again, housewoman, cleaning, cooking, I have taken to laying outside in the garden for 1 hour a day. I feel so guilty saying that. I really feel bad. That's why I see a little bit tan. So I'm complaining, but I really have to stop complaining, because I'm only complaining because I lost work and I want to come back to the lagoon. But I cannot say I'm locked inside. Okay, I'm gonna check on the bread. Wait a minute. Okay. It's not ready yet. No. So maybe I will stop here, and in 10 minutes, I'm going to click back on, okay? Because otherwise I'm just going to bug you guys with all of this really boring monologue. And I have nothing else to show you that's worth showing, really. I can't do you a little dance. I mean, I could, but my kids would kill me. So, all right. Be back very soon, okay? I hope your bread is mixing, or go mix it up until I come back, okay? Bye-bye.